This estate winds through 50 hectares of indigenous coastal forest, with views of the Indian Ocean breakers to one side and the Tongati River to the other. While the roof styles are consistent, so no home jars against the environment, the interior design is what sets each house apart. Shanae Anderson's distinctive work makes a statement.
Shanae, you've done it again with another spectacular home on the Dolphin Coast. What stands out for this particular home?
Well, Harmony, this home is owned by a very astute businessman and commercial property developer, and he has invested an enormous amount of his personal time and energy in the development of this project. So this whole house really is a culmination of his vision and his identity. We really collaborated with the sole aim of executing his wishes to the highest standards and to ensure a happy outcome.
It's clear why Shanae won this year's Best Interior Design Private Residence Award.
Just look at these beautiful pendants. They were actually designed by Professor in Mathematics, Raymond Futz, and he used these intricate little triangular designs which create pathways for the electricity to flow to the little LED terminals.
I love how they're so different, but they match the ones in the bar.
Yes, Harmony, functional lights may as well be beautiful. And this is a modern take on an Odelman replica disc chandelier. And what also is very beautiful is this jacquard velvet that we've used on the bar chairs. Now, jacquard is interesting because the design is actually interwoven as opposed to dyed or printed on after the fact.
The main living area is partially lit by two vast hammered bronze candle holders. Focusing on sustainability, Shanae chose wallpaper with water-based colors, organic coatings, and recycled fiber.
The materials, textures, and fabrics have been used so beautifully in this room.
Thank you, Harmony. It's really important to use a lot of textures when you layer the rooms. And a very good example thereof is this beautiful chenille. And it brings out the golds, which is also again reflected not only in your wallpaper, but also in your candle holders, in your tables. And if you look at the rug, this is a really beautiful traditional Tibetan hand-knotted rug, and it's made of 100% wool and silk. And it also plays on the coppers and the rusted golds that come through in them.
There's quite a prominent use of blue, shades of blue and gold.
Yes, Selwyn responded very well to all the tones of blues when we met. And blue is the color of the sky, it's the color of the sea. It symbolizes wisdom, truth, depth. And it's also the color of heaven. And who doesn't want a bit of heaven in their home?
For sure.
The dining room pendant takes its name from a plant growing in the Ethiopian highlands.
Another elegant light fixture complemented by the beautiful clocks and mirrors in the house.
Yes, this is a really fine design. It's called the Heracleum, and it has 63 little leaves or lenses which encapsulate the LED illuminants inside.
It works so well with the wood.
Yeah, wood is like us. We identify with it very nicely, and with age, they develop their own characters and personalities. And it's almost like an individual fingerprint, the wood grains.
The open line of sight from the kitchen to the living room makes for a free holiday atmosphere.
This lounge is probably where the family spends most of their days, but you've still kept it chic with the patterns, textures, and wooden finishes.
Yes, we're still very much on point in the colour scheme with the soft French blues, the lovely tactile velvets, and then also the woods. And it's very important to note that all of our woods are sourced from sustainable and renewable forests, and that ensures that the ecosystems around it doesn't get damaged. And Harmony, if you think about it, wood is such a beautiful material and it transitions so well to your outdoor living areas.
In a climate where average highs reach 24 degrees right through the mid-winter months, the house was designed to be airy and light by architect Nitesh Singh.
There definitely is a beautiful free-flowing design in the house. What are some of the elements you used to achieve this?
The actual surroundings dictated the flow of the house, and we didn't want the flow to be obstructed by any structure. So what we've done was, with this cantilevered frame, we've minimized the amount of structure, which are these columns that you see that have been cladded in kiat. And the main structure for this entire ground floor are those two fireplaces. which basically just look like fireplaces, but they are the main structural component keeping the entire structure above in place.
Integrating fireplaces in the columns spreads natural heat through the living area.
By recessing our structure and minimizing the sizes of our columns, we have managed to transform the space into a very free-flowing space. And as you flow through the space, you are able to enjoy the views of your natural surroundings. On the outside living spaces, we used timber decking, which enhances your experience with the external spaces. And we've even introduced a bit of AstroTurf above the garage just to soften up the concrete roof.
With just a step outdoors, the sound of the breakers is so strong and the forest climate so immersive that in this house, nature comes to you. When you do venture further, landscape specialist Richard Duke Norris has invested 9 months in creating a series of gardens which make up a journey.
Richard, I'm in awe of the natural beauty around us. How did that impact your garden's design?
Well, natural was the theme of the garden. In keeping with his Zimbabwe golf estate, we kept it very, very soft. We worked in the garden in stages, and the very end of the garden, it all linked together and ended up being exactly as I wanted it.
You're pretty good at giving the illusion of a large space. How did you achieve that here?
Well, the trick to creating space with the large footprint of the house, there was limited space in the garden. So what we actually intended to do was make the entire garden accessible to both physically and to the eye. And so in walking around the garden over the different textures, grass, gravels, pavers, over the 100 meters of actually walking, you'd probably do it in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes to half an hour. And by the time you've actually finished, you've almost created the illusion that you've been walking around a very, very big garden because you've actually been in every single section of the garden.
I must say, my favorite part of this garden is the mini golf course.
That was actually a spanner in the works. It was thrown about halfway through the build. Natesh approached me and said, you know, Selwyn has a passion for golf. Can't you come up with something in the grass areas that will reflect that? And I kind of thought we could create a mini chipping and putting green. And I've grown a real appreciation for how much work it takes to actually look after a putting green.
Richard's client is a keen golfer. But besides practicing his chipping and putting, he likes to wander around the garden, sipping on his morning cup of coffee or taking leisurely walks with his daughter. When he needs his own space, he retires to the stormy blue and charcoal master suite.
Wow, what a magnificent view. It flows in so seamlessly into this monochromatic color scheme.
Yes, this is Selwyn's favorite relaxation room. We continued the dark, charcoaly, dark, moody blue colors into this room, and we've used a beautiful linen velvet by Mark Alexander, which bruises to the touch, and this lovely chenille on the chair. This rug also has been inspired by moving clouds, so it gives you a sense of movement.
The owner shares the same level of textured luxury in his guest suites and his daughter's space too.
What makes the other rooms different?
The little princess in the house is Kashia, and her room is fit for a little princess. And she has been quite involved in the selection process. So she has this magnificent wallpaper from the Strata collection. It's called Verde Silver, and it's quite an effective spray technique which gives you a lovely irregular stripe, and it has a beautiful iridescent effect. And her bed is flanked with Lolita lamps, and it plays beautifully with a die-cast shade. It's got a little bit of lace ribbon around, and you can actually move the head, which gives us a lovely playful touch.
I'm sure her room is beautiful and fit for a princess, but I can definitely see myself finishing off a good day by this balcony.
Well, why don't we go out and watch the sunset?
To the west, over the Tongati River, is where you catch the best evening scenes. Safe in the knowledge that come most mornings, look to the east and it will be full sun once again.